All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. My name is Tyler Petersen. I'm the National Sales Manager here at New Horizons, which is really just a fancy title, meaning that I get to spend my time talking with agents, whether that be new agents to the business, new agents to us as a company, established agents looking for a different FMO, or even just agents with product questions. I get to talk with agents. Prior to New Horizons, I was an individual producer myself, primarily in the Medicare space. So I enjoy talking with agents because I can relate. I am one of them, and especially enjoy talking with newer agents like most of you guys, because I was there in that same seat that you're sitting in 4 years ago, probably having the same thoughts and the same questions on how to get going. And so that's the point of this webinar today, is what I wish I knew before getting into Medicare sales, or 10 things I wish I knew. And I've got two screens here, so if you see me staring off into the distance, I'm just looking at another screen here. But I hope that some of these tips and tricks, and these are things I learned along the way or others taught me, can hopefully resonate with you, give you something to think about, take home, and get you going. And also, feel free to ask any questions along the way. We'll be taking a look at the chat, so just ask any questions, answer them along the way, depending on how many we get. Might have to wait till the end, but we got about 30 minutes. I think we'll be under that. I'm not a big jibber jabberer, so we will dive right into it here. All right. First thing that I wish I knew when getting into Medicare sales is that you are only accountable to yourself. Only accountable to yourself. Being independent means you don't necessarily work for somebody. That's one of the great things about being independent. You don't have a boss, you don't have coworkers, you are not captive to an insurance agency or an insurance company. You're independent. It's your own business, it's your own decisions, which is a beautiful thing, but it can also be hard because you don't have a boss above you or coworkers monitoring you or making you work or making you go make those calls. And so one of the biggest things, and that's the next bullet here, is you've got to be able to self-motivate and hold yourself accountable, because there isn't going to be anybody else to do that for you. And one simple way to do that is with goals, right? And set some goals. Keep it simple though. Don't get too crazy to start. Simple goals, daily goals, weekly goals, whether that be I'm going to knock on 40 doors today, or I'm going to talk with 5 people today. Just set those daily and weekly goals and make it attainable, things that you're going to be able to do, because you can always adjust them. You can make your numbers bigger as you get your feet wet and you get going. But start small. Start small. And if you do the daily, if you do the weekly, eventually that's going to turn into the monthly and the yearly. And you're going to be on your way to having a successful insurance business. But that's a big one. You're only accountable to yourself. So you got to be able to wake up each day and know what you need to do, be organized, be motivated to go out there and be successful. So only accountable to yourself, number one. Number two, this was a big one for me. I really wish I knew this, but there is no one size fits all to finding customers at the beginning. The reality of it is, most of you that are getting into this Medicare business, you don't have any customers. We're new to it. But there is no one size fits all on finding customers. And there's a lot of different ways to do it out there. And I'm sure you guys on your journey so far, you've probably talked to different people, different agents, different FMOs, maybe read some books. I don't know, but I'm sure you've picked up on everybody doing it a little bit differently. You've got the folks who are all telephonic. They do everything on the phone. And then you've got, door knockers or direct mailers. Social media ads is all they do. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And if we just look across the board at all of our agents here at New Horizons, I mean, it's all over the spectrum. We've got agents who are very successful and all they do is pick up the phone. They do it all remotely. We've got other folks who they do it all in person and then everywhere in between. And the point of that is there's no one size fits all. And what works for one person might not work for you and your personality. I would be no good over the phone. I'm an in-person kind of guy, being in front of that person, building a relationship with them. So doing it over the phone just wasn't something that worked out for me. But just finding your lane, right? Talk to people, have ideas, but find what you're good at. Don't try to fit a circle into a square hole, so to say, but try different methods. Don't pigeonhole yourself just to one way when you're starting out. Kind of try some different ideas and see what sticks and see what works for you and what's natural for you, because that at the end of the day, there's a lot of different ways to be successful. So just find a way that works for you, that makes you like to get up each day and do what you like to do. So find your lane. Number 3, I think, is where we're at now. This is probably an obvious one, and one I maybe knew going into it, but nonetheless, this is a relationship business. It's a relationship business. Genuinely getting to know a prospective customer, the person across the table from you or across the phone from you, however you're going to do it, but get to know them. When you can build the relationship and you can get to know them, what they like to do, and just understand their background, put their interest first, the insurance part is going to come. It's going to come. And when you've got the relationship and they know who you are and you know who they are, it's going to differentiate yourself from everybody else in the industry trying to get them as a customer. And so it makes you not just another person. And so take the time to build a relationship. And if you can do that at the beginning, that's just going to be a natural part of you and your business flow in the long run. And relationships go a long way. You know, we're so hot to trot initially to try to get a customer or try to get a sale or whatever the case may be. And oftentimes we put the relationship part kind of on the back burner. But if you can put the relationship first, the insurance will come. It's natural. So that's kind of on the consumer level, getting to know them, but professional relationships matter as well. And they're equally important. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later and why they're important and how they can help you grow your business. So I won't stop and talk about this too much right now, but we'll circle back to it. But professional relationships are very important as well. Financial advisors, property and casualty folks, and we'll talk about that. But at the end of the day, we can't forget it's a people business. It's a relationship business. Helping and serving individuals is what we do. The commissions, the policies, all that stuff will come after that if you put those people first and foremost. Moving along here, number 4. Less about what you know and more about getting yourself out there. Have this conversation a lot with new agents. I found myself battling this when I got started. It was really easy to make an excuse to not get out into the field because I thought I had to have all the right answers or I had to know everything about each product. But it's less about what you know and more about just getting yourself out there. And that's part of what we just talked about. Because a relationship goes a long way, to start, you can get away with being new and not knowing everything. If that person trusts you and knows that you're going to put their best interest first and foremost, you're going to get away with, hey, I don't know that answer, but let me find that out and I'll circle back with you. Or however you're going to go about finding that answer. You don't have to know it all right away. The first step is just getting out there and getting started. And I feel like for me and a lot of the people I talk to, if everybody just waited until they knew everything before they started, nobody would probably start. most of the learning happens in the field when you're in front of those people, when you're having those conversations, navigating the waters, the sales conversation or the underwriting, whatever the case may be. So just get out there, get started. Most of the learning happens in the field. You're not going to know all the answers before you start. This could be a bonus point, number 11 here. I don't have it on the slides, but just that idea of learning, constantly be learning. There's always new products, new compliance issues, best practices, all these different things. So just constantly be learning, growing, getting better. And again, a lot of that starts with just getting out there and doing it. Number 5, I really wish I knew this one. This is obvious, but you're not going to get every person. Every single person you talk to, you're not going to get them as a customer, and that's okay. And if you can get every single person you talk to as a customer, teach us your ways. But the reality is you won't be able to get every single person you come across or talk to as a customer. There's a lot of reasons that you just can't control, and you're going to be told no. They might already have an agent that they have a relationship with. Maybe they want to do it themselves. Maybe they got family member in it. The reasons are endless, but get used to being told no, and that's okay. You're not going to get everybody. Don't hang your head, right? If you get told no, don't hang your head. Don't think that you did something wrong. Like I said, there's lots of different reasons that are out of your control as to why they're going to go elsewhere or maybe not you. But if we've got that perspective that it is a numbers game, we want to talk to a lot of people, but we're going to get told no, then it makes it a lot easier to move on to the next one, which is the beautiful thing. There's over 10,000 people. That statistic might be a little old, but over 10,000 people turning 65 every day. There's a lot of opportunities out there. Kind of have a short-term memory and get on to the next one, because there's somebody else waiting that will want your help, that will desire to be helped. So not everybody you're going to get. That's all right. Move on to the next one. With that being said, number 6, it's a long-term game. All right. This isn't a quick thing. It takes time. It takes conversations. It takes talking to a lot of people to ultimately get customers. And so it takes a while to create steady income and build a book of business. So if you can know that going into it, then that day to day and the week to the week, the month to the month starting out should be natural. You should know it takes a while. Pyramids weren't built in a day, and either is a Medicare book of business. I'll tell you that for sure. It takes time and it takes effort, but it's not a get rich quick business, but the fruits of it do come. I learned from a wise guy in this industry, John Hockaday. You might have heard of him before, but he just said, plant the seeds. You never know when they will pop up. And I wanted to share that with you guys because this was it was a game changer for me. I'd be out on the field, knocking on doors, thinking I had to sell. Like that was the fruit of it, which it ultimately is. But before you can get fruit, you got to have seeds. So plant the seeds. You never know when they're going to pop up. Endless stories of, I was a door knocker. That's what I did initially. But how many conversations, you have on the porch or business card you leave and you're just like, that was a waste of my time. And then a year later or a month later, that person now all of a sudden has a question or wants to talk and they call you and you're like, who are you? You don't remember them, but you had a conversation with them. And so you just plant the seeds. You never know when they're gonna pop up. But they do pop up. That's for sure. Do the CNA from the beginning. CNA, that is the client needs assessment. And I think we've got one up here. I'll jump back to this stuff. Client needs assessment. This is something that a lot of our agents use that we kind of built in-house, if you will, but it's a pretty passive way to get to know somebody a little bit, to identify what needs they have, what you can help fill in for them. And at the very beginning, it's a great way to be able to offer multiple different products. And we've got this available. There's videos on it on how to go through it, but it's just a passive way. You know, what's your health history? Have you had any claims in the last 2 years? Which parts of Medicare do you currently have? I'm not going to read all these word for word, but it identifies different needs that this individual may have. And it even goes on past number 6. You know, do you have life insurance? What do you have for investments? Things like that really help you to understand their overall picture, but then more importantly, how you can help service and fill some of the needs that they might have. I'm going to try to go backwards here. Okay, perfect. The point of all this client needs assessment, just get in the habit of doing it because it can help with the income in the beginning. If you're able to uncover additional needs, offer multiple products, that's going to be multiple different commission streams coming in versus just one, which will just help you get going a little bit quicker. Kind of already said this, but going through that client needs assessment, it allows you to uncover additional needs and help fill those needs with other products, which ultimately leads to additional income. But more importantly, guys, it's helping you serve and fulfill the needs of those individuals, which is a little bit more important than income. If you're servicing them, if you're filling their needs, if you're filling in gaps that they don't have, not only is it fruitful for you, but it's really helping cover those guys well. I think that's all I've got on client needs assessment. We've got those on our website. If you guys want a copy of it, download it, just let us know. We can get those to you. But my biggest thing on that, do it from the beginning. If you can get in the habit of when you sit down with somebody, that's the first 10 minutes of the conversation, then it's almost ingrained in you versus getting started and then trying to do that down the road. Looks like there's a couple chat questions, which is Jason Ferguson giving you the client needs assessment. Look at that. He is on top of it. So you don't have to reach out to us. He already gave it to you. All right, number 8. You don't have to be a product expert on every product to start offering it. Should have put a little asterisk on that. You do need to have an understanding, a general understanding of the different products and how that can help, fill needs and cover folks, making sure it's the right fit for them. We're not just pushing products on them if they don't need it. So you need to have a general understanding, but you don't need to be an expert on every single product to start offering it. If you do the CNA, it will uncover additional needs that you get the opportunity to help with. If you're a Medicare person, that's your forte and that's what gets you in the door, that's excellent. But then if you ask those other questions, you're going to be able to help them in other areas besides just Medicare. Don't think you need to know everything before you start offering it. I'm saying the same thing over and over here again. Just get out there, ask the questions, get in the habit of it. That's how you're going to learn. If you never talk about something, you're not going to learn about it. But if you can get in the habit initially, then it's going to be with you in the long run, and it's going to open up your business to comprehensively cover a lot of folks rather than just one product line. The team at New Horizons. So we're a phone call away. If you're asking those questions, you're in an appointment, you're sitting with a prospective customer, you're at their kitchen table, whatever the case may be, we're a phone call away. We love helping agents in the field. We can get put on speakerphone, have those conversations with you. We want to help you be successful. We want to give you the tools, the resources to be as successful as you can, which one of those tools and resources is us. So do not hesitate to reach out. We're happy to get you through a presentation in the field, answer those client questions, whatever the case may be, to help you get some business placed. All right, Number 9 here. I feel like this is probably one of the bigger things I talk to on a daily basis with new agents getting into the business. And that was part of what I said originally on professional relationships matter. And the reason that is because professional relationships can create referrals for you. And so getting yourself out in the community you're in, identifying who's in your market, who are financial advisors that have people turning 65 or older coming to them already, but maybe they don't do Medicare. And they're looking for somebody to be not only a resource for them as an advisor, but also for their customers. Who are the property and casualty agents? Who does the home and auto, but doesn't offer Medicare? Senior centers. Every community is different, but most communities have somewhere where seniors hang out. Maybe it's a community center, maybe it's Casey's, maybe it's a coffee shop, who knows? But just kind of being around that, being in it, being part of senior organizations, depending on where you're at, where you're just a resource for folks, the advisors, the PNC agents, obviously the beneficiary, but just getting yourself kind of in that wheelhouse, because those groups that we just talked about, they have a large audience already. They have people coming to them. And so if you can have them referring to you, then that's just a piece of your business that's kind of working on the side as you're doing whatever else you're doing, door knocking, phone calling, whatever it is. So find professional relationships, cultivate those relationships, be a resource. Ask. I was worried to go into a financial advisor to start and ask them if they're doing Medicare, because I didn't feel like I was equipped enough to even have that conversation. The reality is, if you know anything about Medicare, you probably know a lot more than the next guy, because most people don't want to deal with it. So just get out there, ask, talk about it. Be involved in the local community. Be in the parades. Just be out there. Be involved. If people in your community know what you do, you're more likely to get those people to call you. The phone just doesn't ring, right? That takes work. So let them know what you do. And again, be a resource, be a resource, be a resource, be a resource. Answer questions, put the people first, the insurance, the sales, all that stuff will come. I already said this, but yeah, when you have referral streams and that organic growth, that's creating the business calling and seeking you, right? We can only be in one spot as an agent. We're at the table with the person. But when you have, multiple advisors or property and casualty agents sending people your way, it's just a little easier way to get going. Number 10, it's critical to ask for referrals with every client. So this is part of just even being in a habit on the CNA, right? The client needs assessment that we talked about. But when you get to the end of a presentation, or you've submitted the application with a customer or had a phone call with them, whatever it is, make it a point to ask if they know anybody that could use your services. Most likely you just sat down with that individual and helped them with a major part of their retirement, whether it's their health insurance or a life product, an annuity, whatever it is. You greatly helped them out and put them in a better position than where they were at prior to that. And so make it a point to ask, hey, Mrs. Jones, we helped you do this. Do you know anybody else that could use help with that? And I bet you will start getting referrals that way. But guys, the big thing is word of mouth is the best new business that we can have. It's the best. When you've taken care of a customer, so much that they're willing to share your name with friends and families, family members, it means a lot. And it's a huge part in growing your business. So relationships are big, word of mouth is big, but the word of mouth doesn't come unless you're taking care of that individual and they know that you care about them and you didn't just sell them a policy and they never hear from you again. I think I kind of touched on you can only be in one spot, but when you have multiple referral streams and even customers out there talking about you, that's pretty great advertising that you can't really buy. Jason, I don't know what we have for time here, but that's my 10. I gave you a bonus 11 on keep learning. But I hope these tips, these tricks can get you thinking, helping you grow your business. And I don't know how many questions we have or who has questions, but would love to answer any. And I think Jason's got my contact info on here. If you can think of any, feel free to shoot me an email, give me a phone call, whatever's most convenient for you.
Yeah, Tyler, we have one. What is your take on doing only med sup, so no worries about compliance?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. With Medicare Advantage plans, there is the compliance in place, scopes of appointments, call recording if you're going to do it over the phone. My take would be embrace the compliance, get set up, especially if you're a newer agent. You don't want to just offer one product line because the customers are kind of few and far between. And so you don't want to get in front of somebody, and then be interested in a Medicare Advantage plan. And all you do is Medicare supplements because you went through the time to get in front of them, have an appointment, and now all of a sudden you can't help them. So offering, Medicare supplements, Medicare Advantage plans, I think our recommendation would be to do both. That way you're able to capture more people, but then you can truly sit across from somebody and help them do what is best for them. Whether it's a med sup or a Medicare Advantage plan, it doesn't matter to you. You do them both. And so when you can kind of build that credibility, we do it all. We want to help you find what's best for you. I think it goes a long way. And once you do that compliance stuff a little bit, it comes second nature.
Okay, we have another one. What would be good realistic goals to set as a new agent with no customers?
Get one customer. I think that'd be a great goal. Get a customer. And then when you get one customer, get another one. That's a really good question. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about it. I think it really depends on what is your style going to be. Are you going to be a door knocker? Are you going to be a phone caller? Are you going to be a social media advertiser? Because it depends on what you're going to do. You got to make a lot of phone calls to get a person. You got to knock on a lot of doors to get a person, but a lot less than phone calling. So it really depends on what your approach and what your lane is going to be. But I'd love to, have a conversation with you and identify what you're going to do a little bit more to maybe answer that question a little bit better.
Yeah, Tyler, can you advance to the last slide that has your contact info on it, and then we can get that to everybody.
Boom. Didn't even know that one was there.
Liz asks, is working with doctors and other providers a good place to go?
Yeah, I mean, as many people in your community, in your area that know what you do is going to be instrumental in getting you rolling. Now, there's some compliance things, how you go about that. But doctors, pharmacies, again, financial advisors, property and casualty people, there's only so much some of those professionals can say and refer legally. But yeah, the more people that know what you do and know how you do it, that's important. How do you do it? And again, that you're going to take care of their customer and do what's best for them is just going to get more people coming your way. Yeah, good question.
Okay, Alfred, what is the best way to record people who hang up on you when it is on your phone before you can answer them?
Jason, read that one more time.
What is the best way to record people who hang up on you when it is on your phone before you can answer them? I'm not sure I understand that one, Alfred.
Yeah, if they hung up on you, then there really isn't much to record. But I'm going to kind of put a plug here. the tools and the technology that New Horizons has to offer has a great call recording component of it, where if you're talking to somebody and they hang up, you would have the ability, to kind of call them back and then kind of start that recording again. But ultimately, if they hang up and you're not having a conversation with anybody, there's nothing to be recorded. So I think you're good there.
Okay, Andrew asks, is there a place to get the guidelines rules for social media promotion?
Jason Ferguson.
Yeah, that is on the CMS's website, I believe. Andrew, if you reach out to us, we can track that down and get it to you. Ali asks, can you door knock T65 in your neighborhood?
Yeah, you do need to be careful because there's some compliance things. I mean, Medicare Advantage, you can't door-to-door solicit those plans specifically. So you need to be careful how you're going about it. But if you're not, going door-to-door soliciting specific plans, then door knocking would definitely be an opportunity for you. And again, if you want to talk about that a little bit more specifically based off what you're going to offer for products, give me a holler.
Okay, and Jay, what's the difference between MedSup and Medicare Advantage?
Do we have another hour and a half, Jason?
Yeah, that's a big topic.
Yeah, that is a big one. Our website has so much information on that, MedSup versus Medicare Advantage plans. I think a phone call or, with us or even our director of Medicare Advantage plan sales would be a little bit better platform than this webinar. But yeah, happy to dive into all that stuff with you.
Okay, it looks like that's all the questions we have. Guys, if anything else comes up, please reach out to us.
Awesome. Have a great day, everybody.